The fish farming system I'm operating for production of seed catfish is the Recirculating Aquaculture System, also known or referred to as RAS, and I am using plastic chemical tanks for it. Well, I started with the flow-through system about 2014 after an internship with a farm at Moniya, Ibadan for the production of seed catfish. I was making an average sales of about 3,500 to 5,500 seed catfish in a production. I happened to pay a visit to the poultry farm of one of my husband's friends, and I got introduced to RAS and its basic flow operation and privileges. I witnessed one production run and saw the volume of the hatch-out/larvae after 26 hours. The survival rate was high before and after it was transferred to an outside nursery. Up until I upgraded my production facility to RAS, I only produced thrice using the flow-through, with one of the productions failing outrightly. My last production was in March this year. Comparing my output with that observed at the farm I visited clearly showed that I needed to invest and get my fish farming business on the right track. My current production was through RAS. The fertilization took place at my husband's friend's farm on the 14th of September 2015 using his RAS hatching facility and was transferred 3 days after hatching to my nursery facility, which is also RAS. Now, my observation using this system is that one can easily view the feeding performance from fry to juvenile stage. One can also easily spot out the shooters ever before they become a nuisance in the production tanks. The system allows you to manage the cleanliness of the water in the production tank. It allows one manage diseases with the use of a UV light for sterilizing the recirculating water. One can establish his or her own guides for monitoring good manufacturing practice or good production practices, that is, the feeding schedules based on visual observation, since the water in the production tanks is quite clean, maintenance of clean filters, and filter tanks scheduled production, periodic size sorting, and so on. It has allowed me to be able to develop relevant monitoring records for subsequent productions. The output so far shows that my sales will be 100% better than previous system used, despite being a first run. That is, I've already sold 4,500 posts. I still have 1,000 advanced post fingerlings on ground, and about 4,300 juvenile available, which has been booked. And the shooters should be about 1,005, though I have not counted to reconfirm. Well, the farmers using RAS that I am in contact with are the farmer that introduced me to RAS and the designer of the RAS system unit that I am using. I'm using the same system as the RAS designer, and I'm right at his back. This is because he has his unit enclosed in a concrete block building, and I have mine enclosed in a half concrete block and half wrapped round with block nylon, which allows some element or some rays of light into the unit. Result is quite close, though with his years of experience and several production runs and the capacity he is running, his output/survival rate is much better than mine. His water supply facility is fantastic. I must say here that he is also a consultant on RAS. The introducing farmer only uses rats for hatching out, then takes them out to an open air nursery, which is a concrete outlay inserted into the ground. I have not really taken the time to assess his output since his nursery is in the open and open to harsh temperature changes and other environmental challenges, but it is protected from scavengers. My most fulfilling experience since starting this business is that the viewed output in terms of survival is quite significant compared to when I used the flow-through method. The hatchery management aspect is key, and this is enhanced by the elements used in the setup of the RAS compared to that in the flow-through method. As early as 4 a.m., I get to the fish house and check on the activities in each of the production tanks, the filter tanks, pump tank, and check for any leakages along the pipelines. I then feed the fish and then leave, as I need to do the morning school run to be back by 7:30, 8:30 a.m. I siphon out dirt from the bottom of the tank daily, replace the net on the outflow pipe and also the outflow pipe itself daily. I wash the dirty nets and outflow pipe and replace them to dry and place them to dry. I tidy up all the equipment used, then I feed the fish once I am through. I make sure I record my feeding activities. For the rest of the day, it is mainly feeding at the expected times, recording and observing the fish behavior. Feeding frequency reduces with age as feed size increases and quantity. The filters at early stage, e.g. first, second week, are cleaned once a week, but the water in the two filter tanks and the pump tank is drained every day. From third week, filters are cleaned twice or thrice a week, as the case may be, or demand, and the water in the two filter tanks and the pump tank is drained every day. The frequency of cleaning the filters may not exceed thrice a week, as long as the water draining frequency and the water condition in the tanks are clean. Currently, I am only handling production of seed fish. Before the end of this year, I should have my outgrowth pond up and running. This will also be using the recirculatory system of operation. Since the farm is in its infant stage, my husband and I have developed a working schedule that works for me. I take care of the light jobs, siphoning, cleaning and changing the nets on the flow out pipes and the pipes themselves, grading the fish, while my husband takes care of the heavier jobs, cleaning the filter tanks, removing them and all that. For power supply, when the upgrading budget was being drawn up, the cost of installing an inverter system was done. This included the installation of solar panels to ensure the continuous running of the pumps and the UV lights. The generators we have were already in the house, a petrol generator and a diesel generator. These are used as backup for charging any day the weather is dull. Well, talking about limitations, no business can claim to not have encountered limitations of some sort at one time or the other. It is the way the issue is managed that ensures continuity of such business. I am currently going through such a limitation due to the borehole not supplying water. This water supply situation came about on the 13th of October 2015, and I believe God has had a hand in ensuring the low mortality that has occurred so far. I needed to do a grading exercise I had scheduled for two of my production tanks and wanted to ensure that I had adequate water for cleaning and filling the tanks back, only to find out the pump from the borehole was not supplying. So I let my husband know and had to postpone the exercise as well as other activities related to water, to the use of water. One of the representatives of the company that dug the borehole came the following day to inspect the borehole. It was discovered that the pump was bogged down in mud. On attempting to pull out the piping and the pump got stuck and only the piping came out. The only access to the pump was now the rope attached to it and the electrical connection. The challenge was how to bring out the pump, but for me, the challenge as at that time was how to ensure I prevent or reduce possible mortality in my production tanks to the barest minimum. To reduce or prevent mortality, I do a visual check about 2 to 3 hours interval during the day, as most time the dead fish will come to the surface, while ensuring that the outflow pipe and the filtering net in the production tanks are kept clean. You may wonder how do I get this cleaning done? Well, a backup water supply source, a well, provides this water, but is not adequate in supply to meet the daily cleaning operations of the filtering tanks and the pump tanks for the RAS. Once in 4 days, if there is a need, I treat the recirculating water with an antibiotic. I have done this twice so far, and the water challenge is still on as at the time of writing. The borehole has been flushed twice so far, but we have not been able to retrieve the pump, so the challenge is still on. But in the midst of this challenge limitation, I have sold 4,500 post fingerlings during this period and have an order of 4,000 juveniles to be picked up. I have about 1,000 advanced post juveniles, and shooters on ground are about 1,500. Throughout this period, mortality tracked is not up to 80 pieces. The management of the shooters in the production tank had to be handled differently, as it was difficult to see into the production tanks. I sought blindly using a fishing net. I believe with the help of God, the RAS, and the extra attention given to the management of the hatchery, I still have products in my tanks to sell. I will only proceed on a new production once the borehole issue is resolved. My advice to aspiring farm business owners considering investing in fish farming are as follows. There will be a need for one to associate with existing successful fish farmers and get involved in their daily routine. Understand their daily routines. Try and understand the reasons for their chosen farm location and system put in place to run their operations. Identify the critical needs for the business, e.g. water supply, drainage, and so on. What challenges, limitations have they faced in the course of handling their production, the fish, and how was it handled? When starting up, do not isolate yourself from those that know better. Carry them along. Do a lot of research to educate yourself. This cannot be left out. Before I started this business, I worked with a popular multinational company for 20 years. I got employed as a microbiologist, and as the years progressed, I was moved to the quality assurance manager, quality assurance departments as a quality assurance manager, then a business process system manager, and then a plant logistics manager. A lot that I learned from my past vocation has come into play with my current business. There is a key saying that what is not written is or documented does not exist. Documentation has helped me to compare the various stages of my growth in the fish farming industry so far. It has also allowed me to start building a system around my operation for future referencing and growth assessment. My first production run documentation is allowing me to see at what stage I change my feed size, frequency at which I need to carry out sorting, and so on. Thank you.